My name is Allison Wilson, and this is my capstone presentation for Kennesaw State University's Instructional Technology Specialist Program. My capstone project is titled Using Technology to Formatively Assess and discusses the importance of utilizing technology to implement formative assessments in the classroom. Teaching is no longer planning lessons around a topic, teaching the lessons, and having the students take a test to show what they've learned. In this scenario, teachers are waiting until the end of the lesson to find out how much students know. Too often, the role of assessments is to evaluate students and give grades. Testing at the end of a lesson to see what the students have learned is considered to be a summative assessment. When a teacher uses only this type of assessment, it leaves no room to adapt the lesson. What if the students already have previous knowledge of the topic and don't need to spend the whole time allotted for the lesson? If a teacher is using only summative assessments, he or she doesn't know if less time could have been spent on the lesson. The opposite is true when students do not understand the material. More time might be needed for instruction. To enhance learning, it's important for a teacher to formatively assess the students. When used correctly, these assessments help enhance the learning process for the students. Since formative assessments are an expectation at my school, it is important that teachers understand the best way to implement them. These assessments can be time-consuming as most of the data is qualitative in nature. The data involves anecdotal notes and teacher observations. It involves spreadsheets and checklists that help determine how many of the students are mastering the topics and how many students still need help. It also helps a teacher understand what parts of the instruction might be confusing the students. In the past, these assessments have been done with paper and pencil. As more and more learning activities involve the internet, the timeliness of feedback becomes increasingly important. Using technology to formatively assess can speed up and streamline the process, as well as organize the data without a binder full of notes. The overall goal of this project was to instruct teachers on how to use technology as they develop the formative assessments required in their lesson plans. It was important to develop a list of different resources that teachers could use. Some of the resources included Today's Meet, which has unfortunately shut down, Padlet, Socrative, Plickers, Quizlet, and Study Island. The teachers were also expected to use resources required by the county like Raz Kids, iReady, and EasyCBM. First, it was important to demonstrate how to use the resources. Along with the list, teachers learned how to use the resources to create, administer, and evaluate formative assessments in hopes of increasing their comfort level. The plan to encourage and prepare teachers to use technology in formative assessments was implemented from August 2017 to December 2018. It was important to continually support teachers as they used the resources. Throughout the Capstone project, professional learning events and other activities were planned to help teachers learn more in regards to technology-enhanced formative assessment. To assess this learning, different strategies were used, including observations, surveys, and interviews. The first checkpoint looked at the teacher's awareness of technology-enhanced formative assessments. This information was used to plan the professional learning events. Afterwards, the teacher's comfort level with technology was evaluated. That information was gained with a survey as well as observations. Lastly, the teacher's use of technology-enhanced formative assessments was assessed with a survey to see if there was a change from the beginning to the end of the project. These are questions evaluated during the capstone process. How are digital resources used in your classroom? How does the learning in your classroom connect to the real world? What is your students' purpose for learning? How frequent is technology used in your classroom? When using technology, what best describes the students' learning experiences? How much access do students have to technology within your classroom? How do students share their work? How many technological resources are generally used by students within your classroom? How do students collaborate within your classroom? What do formative assessments look like in your classroom? Do you use any technology tools to formatively assess? If so, which ones? Asking these questions led to a better understanding of where the teacher stood and where I needed to go during my capstone project. At the culmination of the professional learning events, a post-survey was given. The data was analyzed to understand the successes of the Capstone project and to develop the next steps needed. The interest level of using technology was the biggest gain noticed throughout the Capstone process. In the beginning, 75% of teachers reported that they liked to use technology daily. The post-survey showed over 90% of teachers reporting the same thing. That's a huge gain. The other big gain was teachers reporting that they would like to discover new ways to incorporate technology in their classroom. In the beginning, 67% of teachers reported that they would like to attend a professional development based on technology. The post-survey showed over 80% reporting the same thing. In regards to formative assessments, most teachers interviewed said that they felt like using technology to formatively assess sped up the whole process and made the data easier to understand. No teachers reported that using technology to formatively assess was harder than using other methods. As I reflect on the Capstone project, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that time management is key. It took a lot of work getting everything ready for the professional learning events and creating resources. A new respect for presenters has grown from the experience because there is a great deal that happens in the background that viewers and attendees never see. The biggest obstacle was staying on the timeline and finding new resources that the staff would enjoy learning about. Another item learned was how important a shared vision is to everything that happens in a school regarding improvement. Understanding the school's vision is necessary before any type of professional development can be planned. That way, everything the staff does goes along with the school's idea of where it wants to be, and the school can grow in the appropriate direction. Having the staff and other stakeholders in agreement on the benefits of online formative assessments made the implementation of this Capstone project easier. Lastly, I learned to appropriately use data from one event to plan for the next. This was something I had never done before. It was hard to plan at the beginning because I did not have all the information I needed, but as I went along, the surveys and interviews helped guide me through the creation of the different professional learning events. During this capstone, Microsoft tools were used, including PowerPoint, Word, and Microsoft Forms. Also, the website Common Sense Media was used to rate and review different formative assessment tools. Different handouts and resources were acquired from Common Sense Media. The tools chosen for the capstone included Today's Meet, Padlet, Socrative, Plickers, Quizlet, and also tools like RAS Kids, EasyCBM, and iReady that my county provides and expects the teachers to use. The Microsoft Suite was also used greatly during this capstone project.